Uh, Actually, the way I think my music, it's very related to a day practice that I do, and I'm always working on the same thing. So although I don't work with the partitures or scores, I consider that when I go to make a performance, I have this idea that there is this music that I bring with me, and I don't consider that total improvisation. But even when I see the work of other musicians, I also think that most of them are doing most of the time their work. So the times where you achieve something that surprises you, it's not that often. And I see that a lot in improvisation. You get you don't think your music with your brain, and in the end you start to use more the physical memory of your movements, and you are doing things that you practice a lot, and it gets out. So it's even you don't get to new things because you are stuck in the things that you learn physically. So you can't. And sometimes it's good to try to get conscious that that you are stuck in a wall, and that you need to arrange a way to keep the journey, to find new things. There is this idea that free improvisation is about inventing a new sound every time, but I think it's not. The people that are doing that are not doing a big favor to music if they are trying to discover things in front of people. And I don't think that free improvisation is a term that defines most of the music that fits on the category. My first approach to music was through the records of my older brother, that in the end he became an engineer and never made music, but it was more or less when I was 14 or something that I started to listen to and most of it was rock music. And then I went to an art school like the secondary grade, like for 60 to 18 years, and in that period the school was really intense in terms of a lot of everybody has a band, or there was the fashion the people that were more turned to fashion and the people that were turned to music, and in the end it was in that period that I decided to become more involved with music. I never had this idea, oh, I want to do this for the rest of my life, but it was like I was always thinking about that. And I think that the music that you hear in your adolescence generally marks you in a way that nothing more can mark you. I started initially with guitar, then I changed to violin, and it's a problem that I have with music is that when I tend to practice a lot an instrument, I tend to be trapped in some kind of technical things that I don't feel that they are putting me in the good mood to play music. So from time to time I tend to turn to a new instrument because I feel that I'm getting stuck in technical things and not playing what I want. So I started to play violin and keyboards. Then I later returned to dobro, these resophonic guitars, but it was not also the best instrument for my ideas. And lately I've been playing a lot organ and electric organ and violin. Even more lately, like last year, I started to work a lot in percussion because I started to get interested in polyrhythmics, and it became kind of a daily practice. And for there to pass to percussion, it was a kind of a natural step. Although my idea is to use it also on the organ, this kind of ideas. Recently, a thing that I don't find very comfortable is when the circumstances of the promoters and arrange you the musicians that you will play. And I like to play with friends, with people that I feel that we have more connection than just the music. And so for me it's always better if it's a process that if you are playing with a person, that person should be involved in your daily practice and your the things that you are worried about. And it's a kind of there are I'm saying that, but the opposite happened to me a lot of times, and I'm really happy to that things happen. And it's a way to try this kind of feelings when we are playing mechanically. If you work a lot with people, you start to focus more on the ideas and less on the you are not directed by your movements. There was a time, for example, when in the 90s the scene was very poor here in Portugal. Nothing happened. For example, I played 4 gigs a year or something like that, and all of the process was made was at home, and it was basically, if you don't have the input to give a lot of concerts, you end up being a bit more lazy. And around the beginning of the 2000s, new promoters start to work here in Portugal, and in that process more concerts were made with Portuguese musicians, and we could see more music in places like ZDB, and mostly ZDB in that period. And for me it was such an intense time that I thought that my impression it was that it would be a kind of a small phase, and it would become the new 90s, nothing. And strangely, now we are in 2016, and I see that things are getting better every year. So for the future, I have this vision that I don't know what I will be doing, but I hope that I can achieve the new dreams and new musics to play. And I think I have optimism seeing the process that of the musicians that are the way my friends are developing, the way I see the more and more concerts, more and more spaces opening. Yeah, I think that that is with that you can achieve new music, I think, because it's the kind of the foundations for you to continue to your work. One of the things that it's the most dangerous in terms of creating new public is if you see always the same public in the different spaces, like a group of 20 people that go to the same spaces. And it's always good to, when you see after a concert, oh, I came here for dinner and I really like, what kind of music is this? And sometimes it's the beginning for a person to get involved in discovering new things. and I think the fact that there are a lot of spaces opening every month, it creates the public. It's first it's the spaces and then the public comes, I think.